You know, a lot of aircraft are designed to be jacks of all trades. The F-22 Raptor, it is not one of them. This plane was born from a single, pretty radical vision to achieve total, unquestioned air superiority. So let's break down exactly how this thing was engineered to be the absolute apex predator of the sky.
Now this right here, that's not just some catchy marketing phrase. This is the DNA of the F-22. It's the core philosophy that drove every single engineering choice, from the materials they used to the systems they integrated into this incredible machine. It's built to see the enemy, engage them, and win the fight before the other guy even knows what hit him.
So that begs the question, how in the world do you actually build an aircraft that can live up to a model like that? Well, it's not any one single thing. It's really a combination of three revolutionary pillars of technology, all working together in perfect harmony, and we're going to break them down.
To really get the F-22, you have to understand the time it came from. Coming out of the Cold War, a huge strategic choice was made. The thinking was the main threat could be a top-tier air force. So the goal wasn't just another multi-role fighter. Nope. The U.S. decided to build a pure specialist, an aircraft designed to do one thing better than anything else on the planet: totally control the skies.
Okay, so the first pillar of its dominance, and honestly the one that makes everything else possible, is its revolutionary ability to be invisible. So let's dig into how the Raptor pulls off this amazing vanishing act. The foundation for that first look is this concept right here: low observable stealth. The entire goal is to minimize the aircraft's signature, making it incredibly hard for enemy systems to find it, track it, or shoot at it. It's all about being a ghost in the machine.
And here's what's so mind-blowing about this. To an enemy radar system, this massive, powerful fighter jet doesn't look like a threat at all. It actually has the radar signature of a bird. Just think about that for a second. By the time an opponent realizes that tiny blip on their screen isn't looking for worms, it is way, way too late.
So how does it pull off this magic trick? It's a two-part act. First, you've got the shape. Every single angle on the F-22 is meticulously designed to bounce incoming radar waves away from the enemy, kind of like a weirdly shaped mirror, instead of bouncing them right back. Second, its skin is coated in special radar-absorbing materials. This stuff literally soaks up radar energy and turns it into a tiny bit of harmless heat. So it deflects what it can and absorbs the rest.
But being invisible isn't enough. I mean, it's a great start, but to really dominate, the F-22 also needs to outperform anything it faces. And that brings us to the second pillar: its absolutely stunning performance in the air.
A huge part of that performance is a game-changing capability called supercruise. See, for most jets, going supersonic means you have to kick in the afterburners, which is basically just dumping raw fuel into the engine exhaust. It's incredibly powerful, but it drinks fuel at a terrifying rate, and to an infrared sensor, you light up like a torch.
And this right here shows you the difference perfectly. While other fighters have to make these short, desperate, fuel-guzzling sprints on afterburner, the F-22, it just cruises. Thanks to its advanced engines, it can fly at over 1.5 times the speed of sound without them. This gives it a massive advantage in speed, range, and energy in any fight.
And those engines don't just provide speed, they provide jaw-dropping agility. The nozzles on the back can actually pivot up and down. That's called thrust vectoring. This lets the Raptor perform maneuvers that are just physically impossible for normal jets, which makes it an absolute monster in a dogfight. It can climb faster, turn tighter, and operate at altitudes where other fighters can barely breathe. Okay, so we have an invisible, hyper-athletic fighter. Now for the third and final pillar, the brains. This is what brings the stealth and the performance together to actually deliver on that first shot, first kill promise.
At the heart of the F-22's brain is its ASA radar. Now, don't think of it like one big, clunky satellite dish. Instead, picture thousands of tiny little radars all working together. This lets it scan for targets at incredible ranges, but in a way that's really hard for an enemy to detect. It can see everything without shouting, "Here I am."
But that powerful radar doesn't work alone, and that's the crucial part. The F-22 is constantly listening with passive sensors, and it has powerful electronic warfare systems to jam and confuse the enemy. All of this information gets fused together into one simple, clear picture for the pilot, giving them an unparalleled, almost godlike view of the entire battle space.
So, when you put all these pieces together, the stealth, the performance, the sensors, you get more than just a plane. You get a paradigm shift in air combat. You get a benchmark that has defined a whole generation of fighter design.
And hey, don't just take my word for it.
This quote from Academic Analysis really puts it in perspective. The technological leap forward that the F-22 represented wasn't just another step, it was a giant chasm.
Let that number just sink in for a second. 20 years, a 20-year lead. That is the real, tangible result of that focused design philosophy. It created a gap in capability that was, at the time, completely unprecedented in the history of jet fighters.
So ultimately, the F-22's true legacy is that it became the benchmark. It proved that by focusing relentlessly on one single mission, you could create an aircraft so far ahead of its time that it would redefine what was even possible, shaping the strategic calculations of nations for decades to come. And that leaves us with a really fascinating question for today. The Raptor is the absolute peak of specialized design, but in a world of evolving threats and new technologies, is that single-minded focus on being the best at one thing still the key to controlling the skies, or will the future belong to the versatile?